After preparations are completed, the Lunar Excursion Module will separate from the command and service modules, which will remain in lunar orbit. The Lunar Excursion Module will be properly oriented, and its propulsion system will transfer the vehicle into an elliptical orbit suitable for approaching the lunar surface.
But what is this craft called the Lunar Module?
LM is a vehicle that has been designed for a particular job, and that job is to land on the lunar surface. It doesn't look like an airplane or a spacecraft in the old sense. It's not smooth. It's very thin skinned. It has a descent propulsion stage, a large descent engine which will be used to land the vehicle on the lunar surface in a manner very similar to that of a helicopter, except that instead of using blades for a lift, we'll be using a rocket propulsion engine. And the upper stage, the cabin and ascent engine stage, will be used to lift off from the lunar surface and make the subsequent rendezvous with the command and service module.
Then the descent engine would go to 100% thrust preparatory for the biggest test of the mission, fire in the hole.
Let's suppose that we're descending using the descent engine and suddenly we discover some fault in the descent or the ascent stage for that matter. Well, we would like to return to a safe lunar orbit. So what we would do is essentially abort, fire the ascent stage while it's still connected to the descent stage, and then milliseconds later fire the pyros that separate the two stages.
With its landing gear deployed and landing radar tested, the Eagle used its reaction control jets to separate itself from the command module.
Armstrong pulled the ejection ring at the last possible moment. Apart from a bloody tongue bitten on impact, he was unharmed and anxious to climb back on board.
That if the landing happened to be in one of these pools, it would just sink down out of sight in all of this dust. Neither of those postulates were acceptable if we were going to land on the moon. And so
This dirt sucked. Like soft powder snow. And it's a beautiful sight.
Young parked the rover, then moved out to join Duke, enter the Lunar Module, and prepare for liftoff.
Boy, Houston, the beauty of this place is absolutely incredible.
The crew will fire the lunar launching engine at a precisely determined instant to enter a transfer ellipse calculated to rendezvous with the mothership after traveling part of the way around the moon. After proper orientation, the Lunar Excursion Module will complete the docking maneuver. The two lunar explorers will transfer back into the command module.
The comfortable pull of Earth's gravity, the protective, life-giving atmosphere, these, to the Lunar Module, nicknamed LEM, are the hostile elements. Its engines cannot lift its own weight against the pull of the Earth. If it could fly on Earth, the aerodynamic forces of the atmosphere would tear it apart. So how do you test the Lunar Module before it flies in space? You test its engines in the man-made vacuum of an engine test stand. Its operating systems in gigantic vacuum chambers. You tumble it on stands in engineering laboratories. But the real test is when it flies.
5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Pam, call 911.
Here is the completed centrifuge in motion. It is a 38-ton colossus. And its great complexity demands a drastically new approach to directing, lighting, and photography. To accomplish the effect of weightlessness, cameras are placed in radically unorthodox mounts. Optical engineers had to design equipment which would meet the requirements of Kubrick's bizarre and incisive imagination.
We also had a rotate and clean machine, which they also called a tumbler. And what that did was, I think we had 3 cycles of tumbling. And it took all of the debris and dust and rivet tails and what have you, and we would catch it and weigh it on a big canvas sheet.
Now that insulation was mylar. It was an aluminized mylar. The mylar itself was kind of a gold color, and it's very prominent in any of the pictures of the LEM that you see.
Roger, I am in flight control. Final status check, booster. Go. Retro. Go. Fido. Go. Guidance. Go. Econ. Go. GNC.
Good liftoff. 1, ignition. What a ride, what a ride. Changeover's on time.